Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Volume 6. Yeah, Volume 6, in German pianist Michael Rische's ongoing series of CPE Bach piano concertos. Now, this, from what I'm told, the series ends with Volume 8. So we're going to get caught up because it's wonderful and you really should have it. The series has been issued on individual discs, also in sets of four volumes each, four CDs in a box, which is a great way to get it. And also, see this green thing up here? The green thing? That's the latest Hänssler CPE Bach edition, now on 68 CDs, formerly 60 CDs, formerly 50 some odd CDs. As it grows, it just sort of, it keeps accreting, and the boxes keep getting reissued. So I may talk about the box again because it's marvelous, first of all. The music's amazing. And it doesn't make a lot of sense for people to acquire box after box after box. You can get these separately and sort of get yourself caught up. It's the best way to do it, because otherwise you're just going to keep spending tons of money for the same things over and over again. And only stupid people and critics, well, maybe they're the same, actually do that. So anyway, let's talk about Volume 6, shall we? We have three concertos, as with most of these volumes. First, Wodken number 11 from 1743 in D major. Now, this is a lovely, lovely concerto. It's really, really beautiful. It's been described as sort of the birth of the Rococo era, somewhat. It's something in the style of CPE Bach's youngest brother, J.C. Bach, who actually was a student of his elder brother. But this was composed, remember, when Papa Bach was still alive. And it's marvelous because the style is so different. It's the end of all of that rigorous counterpoint, which Bach was, the ultimate master of. I love rigorous counterpoint. Don't get me wrong. But you can hear the aesthetic changing of the guard when you compare this to Bach's Concerti for keyboard. And remember, keyboard concerti were a joint project between these two. This was not a solo J.S. Bach invention. It was a J.S. CPE family thing that they came up with. And they wrote concerti in totally different styles in parallel. And that's what makes this also interesting. Anyway, it's a lovely work. This is a lovely performance. It's quite imposing. It's 23 minutes, is it, in this performance? 15 plus 5 plus 1 was 22, 23 minutes, I guess. And, we don't think today, we don't care today, particularly about the fact that 23 minutes was like a big deal. Both for J.S. Bach and for CPE. Think most Vivaldi concertos, they're like, 8 minutes long and 3 movements. Well, this is 20 some odd minutes long and 3 movements. That is really an extraordinary enlargement of the language of music, its expression, its range, its intensity, and the abilities to sustain an argument for that length of time over 3 very ample movements. This is, in a sense, the revolution. And it was in Bach's hands, too, because Bach's works were much richer and larger than what most other people were doing at the same time. And so it's really a remarkable thing. Just as remarkable is the next concerto in C minor. This is Wodken 43, number 4 from 1771. Bach published almost none of these concertos. He published the D major one, this one. He published the 6 of Wodken 43. Is that what it is? Yeah, Wodken 43. Because he wrote 52 concertos in all. And this is the very end of his career. They're remarkable works. They really are. They're also his style was evolving towards something similar to the Viennese classical style. Not exactly the same. He was living in Berlin. His aesthetic was a little different, but he was getting there. And the C minor concerto also exists in a version for solo piano, which Rische played in Volume 2 of this series. So you can hear it both ways. But the orchestral version is even more remarkable, I think. It's an amazing piece. It's in 4 movements. It's the first piano concerto in 4 movements. Think like Brahms' second and the Liszt piano concertos. So it's It's in 4 movements, but it only lasts about 12, 13 minutes. They're very short movements, but that doesn't matter. It's fascinating because it is not only in 4 movements, one of which is a minuet. Yes, the third movement is a minuet, but the last movement is based on the thematic material of the first and then incorporates the main themes from the other 2 movements at the very end. So it's really, all the movements are connected, by the way. So it's really an incredible piece of musical daring, formally speaking, even if it's quite brief. Its brevity is an advantage. It allows us to hear all the interrelationships without them getting too far away in time, that when they come back, we don't hear them the way Bach intended. So it's an extraordinary piece, and you're really going to like it, I guarantee. Then the last one in E minor, Vodkan 24. This came right after the really, really famous D minor concerto, which I love and which I use as a ringtone. And, that's a turbulent, twitchy, abrupt, angular work. This one is much less so. It's more elegiac, a little bit more pathetic in its tone, but the pathos and the elegiac nature of the music are still chock full of surprises. A lot of those have to do with the length of the sections of the themes, the big passages of solo virtuosity, the long orchestral ritornelli that never quite go exactly where you think they're going to. I mean, it's all just such fascinating music. And in his notes for this recording, Rische makes a very, very interesting point that's worth considering. He asks, why are we now finally listening to this music after it's having been neglected for such a tremendous amount of time? And his position essentially is that after hearing, everybody who came after, Beethoven, Brahms, Ligeti, Tchaikovsky, Ravel, all these modern piano concertos, all this contemporary music, Stockhausen, who knows? The fact of the matter is that Bach's original genius, and he was known in his lifetime as an original genius, can only be best appreciated through modern ears. During the 19th century, during much of the 20th century, his aesthetic was considered out of place and inconsistent and patchy, sort of, and only fitfully sustained, let's put it that way. And actually that's the position we get in works such as Charles Rosen's The Classical Style. Great as that work is, he had a somewhat dismissive view of CPE Bach because he felt that Bach's work was not the culmination in the way that Haydn, Mozart, and Beethoven's was. And it wasn't. It was CPE Bach. It was his original genius. And it could be that only after having heard a lot of really fine contemporary music, where composers are searching for new paths and finding new means of expression, can we really appreciate what CPE Bach achieved in his own style, of course. And these performances certainly help us do that. So I would give this a listen. I really would, on a priority basis, and I would keep on listening. So thanks for joining us, thanks for joining me. Oh, and it's with the Berliner Barock Solisten. Let me not forget, Rische is the conductor too, on Hänssler. Fabulous, fabulous music. Worth getting to know. Take care.